Thanks very much, Paul. And it's great to be back on Share Cafe again. And look, I just want to give you a quick rundown as to what KAL Gold, as we call ourselves, is doing at the moment. You can see on screen there, we recently drilled out at our new Pigeon project acquisition in the far distance. You can just make out lovely Lake Rebecca out that way, looking towards the southwest. It's a fascinating area and it's got enormous potential for gold. Can I go to the next slide, please? So what does KAL Gold do? We explore, we find gold, and we do it relatively cheaply. We've got incredible global experience in-house, and we're bringing that back and applying it to the Eastern Goldfields, which is where a lot of our staff cut their teeth. They've moved overseas, had a look around, and coming back and applying some of that knowledge to the Eastern Goldfields of Western Australia again. We're a proven low-cost gold discoverer. We've just done that out of our La Mascotte deposit within 14 months of IPO. We define 138,000 ounces of gold there for the princely sum of only $4.60 an ounce. It's one of the cheapest resource definitions I've ever seen, certainly for a long time. And we're very proud of that. And now we're going to try and do that again out at Pigeon on our new project out there. It's in the Laverton tectonic zone. It's one of the major crustal structures that controls gold in that part of the world. It's host to Sunrise Dam Gold Mine, Anglo Gold's giant, Granny Smith, Rebecca, Wallaby, Anglo-Saxon. We're working in that window in the Pigeon area to again define inexpensive gold resources. And we're going to start doing that by some of these high-grade hits that we've got out at Pigeon, where we've got things like 33 meters at over 3 grams per ton from only within 50 meters of surface. It's quite incredible. One of the things that KAL Gold does that not many other companies our size do is we have an office in Kalgoorlie, and we've got geologists based in Kalgoorlie. It means they get more time out bush. It's a bit difficult to keep them in the office sometimes because they do love getting out there. It means that we're constantly working our projects. And the strategic portfolio we've got, there's a lot of upside on it. I could talk all day, luckily I've only got 10 minutes now. But there's a lot of projects out there with a lot of exciting things going on about them, which I won't go into now, but you can certainly see some of those online on our website. Next slide, please. So our strategy is discovering low-cost gold resources near Kalgoorlie Boulder. Kalgoorlie Boulder is roughly centre bottom of the map there. Our Bulong Taurus project, where the La Mascotte deposit is down the bottom there as well. And you can see all the projects are within roughly a 2-hour drive of Kalgoorlie Boulder itself. Perrinvale, maybe a little longer than that, up in the northwest there. But our idea is that we explore for gold in and around the Kalgoorlie region because we think there is still enormous potential out there that has just simply been overlooked. At Bulong Taurus, 35 kilometres from Kalgoorlie, sealed road all the way out there. We've got our JORC resource at La Mascotte. At Pigeon, we've got our initial focus at KAL Gift. That's just one of many prospects out there. It's new tenure that we've just farmed into. It's also in an active mergers and acquisitions sort of region where Ramelius Resources, just to our south, is shoring up feedstock for its proposed Rebecca mill in the coming years. Next slide, please. So the Pigeon project. I haven't even shown the entire project on this map here, but we've got nearly 250 square kilometres of granted tenure and applications. So KAL Gift and Providence, I'll talk a little more about shortly, as well as Wessex and Harbour Lights South as well, all very exciting projects. Jungle Dam, off to the northwest, there's a number of targets up there that I won't be going into today, but we're quite excited about those. We're looking at these with a structural geology bent. It's my what I do in my off time, if you like. Our analysis of the area shows that there's several targets in the region that just have not been tested. In some of our other applications, particularly to the west of Kergella, roughly centre screen there on the western side there, there's a number of other targets coming through there, and we're rather excited about that. Importantly, we are not far from Ramelius and their big project at Rebecca. They are building a gold mill there. They are committed to that. They have recently acquired Breaker Resources and their Lake Roe deposit. Lake Roe is about 80 kilometres from the proposed Rebecca mill and they will be using that as feed for that mill to guarantee feed from into that mill. So that comes from Rebecca, and it also comes from Lake Roe. When we are working at KAL Gift and Providence, we are aiming to define resources, and we're only 21 kilometres away from Rebecca. So no doubt we will gain Ramilius's attention by defining resources in the area. And look, it's one of those areas too, the neighbourhood is full of quality operators like Ozorm, East 79 and others. And there's a very good reason for that. Go to the next slide, please. Part of the reason is that we are in the Laverton tectonic zone now. There's been 30 million ounces of gold, or plus 30 million ounces of gold discovered along the Laverton tectonic zone. It's a little difficult to show on a map on a slide because it's elongate north-south, but you can see it runs all the way up to Laverton on this map. It extends beyond that. But where you've got Wallaby at nearly 12 million ounces, you've got Sunrise Dam at over 10 million ounces sitting up there in the north. The other thing to note about this is that the further north you go, the better known it is. The Eastern Goldfields, by world standards, is a difficult place to explore, and the Australian mining industry has done an incredible job getting to know what's going on in the region over the decades. But certainly in the north, it's better well known up there, and as we head further south, it's less well known. And that is why we've had in recent times discoveries like Rebecca, like Lake Roe in this southeastern part of the Eastern Goldfields, because it's a relatively unknown area and there's giants hiding out there. Where we're going to be working is just 500 metres south of the Anglo-Saxon gold mine. It's an open pit. It's not run by us, obviously. It's run by another company. And there's been historic exploration in the area that has defined a number of prospects. However, it's been in stasis since about 2011 for a number of reasons that I won't go into here. And so we're very excited to get stuck back into that. And we're expecting granting of a number of tenement applications soon as well. Next slide, please. So at KAL Gift, we've leapt straight into it. Upon signing the agreement and announcing to the market that we'd acquired the project, we had the drill rig out there turning. And what we did was confirm a number of projects. There was a whole, confirm a number of intercepts. We wanted to confirm that the mineralisation that we just signed on for is there. We also wanted to iron out some inconsistencies between historic data, or make sure those inconsistencies weren't there. And so we've drilled 3 holes into what we would hope would be nice, thick, shear-hosted gold mineralisation. And lo and behold, that is exactly what we found. We find that incredibly exciting, because that is one of the one of the characteristics that we see in several major gold deposits and gold mines of the Laverton tectonic zone. So we've seen it from very shallow. We've realised it's wide open. You can see there we're getting very thick intercepts. You know, we're dealing with a shear zone here up to roughly 40 meters thick. And what impressed me with it too was the consistency of the grade through there. That makes for predictable mining. It makes for something that's much easier to work with. This is a long section looking east. It's difficult to show, but what we're seeing is the plunge of mineralisation towards the south, and it's towards the Providence prospect to the, slightly south of here as well. We're going to aim to infill that and test along 700 strike metres there. And we intend to start that drilling soon. Next slide, please. I mentioned some of the other prospects as well at Wessex and Harbour Lights. I just want to highlight that the numbers that you see at these locations are off our tenure. We're only 500 metres south of the Anglo-Saxon pit, or outside of the Anglo-Saxon pit, which you can make out on the imagery there at Wessex. That was drilled by the neighbours all the way up to the tenement boundary there, angled holes towards the tenement boundary, and then a line of holes right on the tenement boundary that were vertical, so they didn't go under the tenement boundary. So we figure they had a good reason for doing that. You can see some of the numbers there. We're out there 3 weeks ago, and we're going to be testing that one soon. Harbour Lights extension, again, a number of high-grade intercepts there. And what we can see from the geophysics is that trend continues straight on into our tenure. So we're going to be testing that one as well. Next slide, please. So Beulong Taurus, this is just outside of Kalgoorlie. We were incredibly busy since listing, and we very quickly defined what we think is an absolutely incredible resource. It's the first resource. We expect there's going to be plenty more. It's outcropping. I'm not really aware of any other recent resources in the Kalgoorlie region that are actually sticking out of the ground. Normally they're under 10, 20, 40, 100 meters of cover. This thing pokes out of the ground. And it's continuous to over 130 meters deep. It probably continues beyond that. We haven't tested there yet. We're going to be doing that. It's open at depth. It's a stacked vein system up to 175 meters thick, less than $5 an ounce to define. Open pit mining is proposed. We're on an existing mining license. The metallurgy is simple. And the good thing about it is there's a whole series of satellite prospects and deposits sitting around there that we hope to bring into a larger operation. Next slide, please. And as you can see here, we're part of what seems to be an emerging district, Murray, to the west of us, Cannon, darling of the markets a short time ago, a few years ago. Here, there's one of the outcropping gold veins, slightly disturbed by some of the prospectors, but yeah, 35 k's east of Kalgoorlie. The resource that we've got, it's at 1.2 grams per tonne, but it's quite amenable to higher cutoffs that will give us a higher grade deposit, reduce the ounces, but that makes it quite comparable to Cannon, just to the southwest of us. Next slide, please. So we're raising 1.4 mil at the moment. We've done that through a private placement. Plus we've got a share purchase plan underway right now. And just a reminder to shareholders, that's open till Tuesday next week, 27th of June. We're getting very strong support there. We're going to use those funds to extend the shallow gold mineralisation at Kalgoorlie Gift down towards the Providence prospect. We're going to start assessing some of the other prospects as well. Lithium potential I haven't even talked about, but it's been highlighted by various parties that the Pingeon region has incredible lithium potential. Our focus is gold. We'd be remiss if we didn't keep an eye out for it for our shareholders, though. And the raising also frees our funds up to push Lamascot forwards as well. Next slide, please. So please check out our projects, check online, and thank you for your attention.
Matt, many thanks for that. I have to start as you ended. You threw out the word lithium there at the end, and we all know that lithium is a pretty hot topic at the moment. So there's a question there. Obviously, you think you may have lithium on your tenements. Are you actually going to do any testing to see if that is the case? Are there any plans there, or just a wait and see at the moment?
Yeah, we certainly will, Paul. So we're already doing a little bit of reconnaissance around the Pingeon project. We've only had most of that tenure there for a couple of months now. Another project of ours called Pianto, we've identified quite significant lithium anomalism in that part of the world. In the area it hasn't been detected before. We think we've identified a number of targets undercover, and we expect some numbers back very shortly on peripheral sampling to those anomalies. So we're very excited by some of the things we're seeing. But like I say, gold is the main focus. But lithium's a nice bonus.
I hear you loud and clear. So let's stick to gold. Let's go back to what are the next drilling plans for Lamascot, and what are your expectations?
Well, Lamascot, we're still working out exactly where to drill further. Well, like I said, we've got a number of prospects around it. For example, we've got a prospect called Turnpike. It looks like it's in the hanging wall. It's same style as Lamascot. So what we're expecting to see is some degree of continuity between those that hasn't been tested. So we want to do a number of things out there. We want to test the continuity that we've got over several kilometres, or potential continuity that we might have there over several kilometres through a number of these satellite prospects, and see if it's something that we can start to incorporate into a whole, into a larger operation, and also try and extend the resource down plunge as well.
Yeah, got you. You touched on this earlier. You recently announced the Kalgoorlie farming and the Rebecca West acquisition. What attracted you to these assets?
Look, it's one of those areas. It's in what some of us would call elephant country. It's on the Laverton tectonic zone. It's on one of the maps actually shows it. There's a nice big kink in that Laverton tectonic zone, and geologists loves those nice bends. That changes the way the gold mineralizing fluids would have flowed through the rocks. And we're right on that bend. It's a fascinating area. It hasn't been explored for a while for a bunch of reasons I won't go into, but it was off the table for quite some time, and we're very proud to have been able to negotiate with the holders and acquire the project. So look, we expect big things out here. We've got applications coming soon. I'm very excited by those as well.
And just following on from that, you've been quoted as saying that the acquisition of this tenement package could prove to be a company maker. Well, I think you've answered this, but what makes you think that could be the case?
There's monsters lurking out there, I think, and we're going to go hunting them.
Well, Matt, we really appreciate your time today. We'll leave you to go on your hunting expedition, and we look forward to getting you back in the second half of the year. Thank you.
Many thanks, Paul.